5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, people. Let's get after it. Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. It means so much to me. So, in the news, Black Lives Matter. Where did that money go? Whoopi Goldberg is getting canceled. Oh no! U.S. troops are being sent to Ukraine. What are your thoughts on that? Fentanyl is killing Americans daily and no one seems to give a crap. The army is pushing their vaccine mandates. Some crazy videos about pedos and more. Let's get into it on the Derek O'Shea Show. Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show, where we discuss culture, news, politics, and more. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the show. Be sure to tell your friends and family about the revolution.
Come on, man.
What's up, everyone? Thank you, Joe. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Derek O'Shea Show. If you want to support me, go to buymeacoffee.com/Derek O'Shea Show. Link is in the description below, and I greatly appreciate it. It means so much to me that those of you coming out and saying, you know what, I appreciate what you do and the time you put into this show to support you. The link is in the description below. Copy and paste, whatever. You can $3 a month to support me.
It's basically like buying a cup of coffee. Someone in need. It's me. It's me. Yeah, it's me.
If you want to share this on all social media platforms. I'd greatly appreciate that too. A little sippy of the... I'm fired up and rearing to go. Let's get into some of my favorite tweets of the day before we even jump into some of the news articles that I want to go through together with you, with me, with us, with everyone, and all. Right now, currently breaking, Canada Freedom Convoy, GoFundMe, as I like to call, Go Authoritarianism me, is put the Canadian Convoy, the Freedom Convoy, under review after raising over $10 million. At this point, who is using GoFundMe anymore? That needs to stop. They are willy-nilly, will just do whatever the wind blows. You want us to go over here? We'll go over here. Oh, there's so much outrage. I guess we'll just freeze the account of all these people who are fighting for freedoms. GoFundMe, what do you guys stand for? Apparently not freedom and apparently not individual rights. So thanks a lot, China. I almost said China. I meant to say go.
You crazy as hell.
Me. Thank you. Shout out to me, Daya. Always a good time. But I wanted to start off this podcast with just some videos. And I think this video tells a lot about our culture, our current culture, and our current climate on pedophilia. What I've been saying over and over again is that there is a certain sector of people, particularly academics or experts, or just seem to be totally okay with pedophilia, and it seems like it's something that they consider is up for debate. Let's listen to this clip of this professor right here.
Imagine that an adult male wants to have sex with a 12-year-old girl. Imagine that she's a willing participant. A very standard, very widely held view that there's something deeply wrong about this.
Stephen Kirschnerberder.
And it's wrong independent of it being criminalized. It's not obvious to me that is in fact wrong. I think this is a mistake. And I think that exploring why
it's not obvious that it's completely wrong according to this guy.
It's a mistake will tell us not only things about adult child sex and statutory rape, but also about fundamental principles of morality.
Exactly. Fundamental principles of morality. I can't think of a better person to describe fundamental feelings of morality than this guy, who is saying, you know what, if a 12-year-old girl wants to have sex with me as an adult, it's totally okay. This is insane. But this is a growing phenomenon and a growing movement of people this used to be something you would not even speak so openly and freely about, especially in the academic sphere. But now it's accepted. Now it's debated. Hey, let's have this debate. Hey, let's ask if this is even a thing that we should be talking about. I mean, the fact that it's wrong for me to even have this conversation is so telling to the true nature of the world. No, you're disgusting and you're just sick, okay? And pedophilia is not okay. It's wrong. It's disgusting. It's immoral. It's unjust. And I think that when you go to prison for it, you should be up for the masses, and they should decide what to do with you, and they should be the judge of you, not necessarily the actual judge. But who am I to say what is wrong and right? I'm just an adult like you with a brain, and will see something that is clearly a mental disorder and think, you know what, this needs to be called out, not celebrated, not clapped on. This isn't a different opinion or a different stance, and this is new. We need to have nuance and a new conversation about what goes on. No, this is freaking nasty. God. And it needs to be called out, and it's disgusting, it's evil, and boom, and that's all. The fact that these people are like,
I'll have a frank conversation and be honest with you about having sex with a 12-year-old.
that's freaking disgusting. Gross. End of story. Bingo. Bonjour. Hello. Buongiorno. Buongiorno. All right. Next is, this kid gets it. All right. I like this video because this kid is, come on, man. This kid wants to stage a protest, and he's calling out people for how to act. And I just think it's encouraging and promising, and something we should talk about how to properly, what does a peaceful protest even look like? As we saw an entire summer long of destruction and murders, as they would say, mostly peaceful. But let's listen to this kid talk about, I think they're protesting masks in school, which is, it's incredible to see a student body uprising for their freedoms, and also just doing it well and doing it almost like more adultish than a lot of our adults in society. But let's listen to this kid, because this kid is a freaking future leader. This kid deserves all the praise in the world.
Hey. Everybody shut up!
Come on, man.
Pay attention. This is not an excuse for any of you freshmen and sophomores to disrespect your teachers. If I hear of anybody disrespecting teachers or staff tomorrow,
Love that.
that makes us look bad. We want this to be a peaceful, respectful movement. We are just trying to gain back our rights as citizens. We do not care about the teachers. In the end, are just doing their jobs. It doesn't come from them. It comes from the state. Now, what we're hoping is that they kick us out. This sounds bad, but we're hoping that they kick us out, because they have to report that attendance to the state. And if the state sees a day where 100, or I don't even know how many kids are here, are absent, they're going to start asking questions. Our hope is we can get this statewide. Now, I might get in trouble for this, but the plan still stands for Wednesday. For tomorrow, I mean. Everybody is going to meet at the back row of the senior parking lot, and we're all walking into the school with no mask on. You can get me in trouble, they can suspend me, I don't care. We're done with this. And obviously all of you are too.
Shut up. Shut up.
Obviously all
I love high school kids. They're always, shut up, everyone shut up.
you are done with the mask too. Now again, we're doing this peacefully and respectfully. If a staff member asks you to put a mask on, you say no thank you and keep walking. And if they kick you out, then go home. And if people need rides home, then some of the seniors, I'm sure we can start giving people rides home.
Wow. This young man, I'm assuming he's a senior, great head on his shoulder. What a way to stage a protest and actually go about it, doing it peacefully, doing it as a measure for the state to even notice and stuff like that. It's so much more refreshing to hear this kind of language than let's tear it all down and destruction and blah, blah, blah. It's just, this kid deserves all the credit in the world. I mean, fantastic. Students should stand up for their freedoms. I mean, we have UK getting rid of all these mandates. We have Ireland. We have all these countries, Netherlands. We have all these countries around the world getting rid of them. And somehow, some way, our states, especially places like California and New York and stuff like that, they just like so slow to do it as more people are starting to just open up and do things how we used to do. And I think there's like a certain demographic, certain people group who are adverse to even taking off masks, and they're scared about that. And that's something we should acknowledge as too, is that there are people out there with mental disorders who are just nervous about showing their face again. And instead of like yelling at them, just say, put your face on. You can put your mask on as long as you want. I don't care, but I don't want to wear it anymore. And that needs to be okay. And this idea that like people not wearing masks, or those are the fringe white supremacists, it's just like such a stupid, idiotic, illogical way to discuss this. And it's good to see this young man, this kid, standing up for what he believes in, so much so that he's willing to get in trouble at school and then just walk home and stuff like that. What a way to do it. And I wonder if their message will come across. Time will tell. Let's get into the all right, we'll get into this, and then we'll go right into Whoopi Goldberg, because I think this is just like hilarious. But just a real quick, oh my gosh.
Joe Biden comes out today and says, "We can end cancer as we know it."
And I said, Miss America.
I want world peace. We'll end cancer, and we'll end death. And there'll be just happiness in the world, and everyone will have lollipops and butterflies and make you feel good on the inside.
We have a very serious president and needs to be taken seriously, okay? Stop making fun of him. All right, let's get into this. Morning Joe. Oh, Morning Joe. Morning Joe. Standing up for Whoopi Goldberg. Thinks cancel culture is too much, too far.
You've gone too far. You can't get rid of me.
All right, here we go. Morning Joe. Let's listen to Mika,
an orator of our time, one of the greatest philosophers of a generation, Mika Brzezinski. Let's listen to this wonderful message of Mika.
This is something that is just going to start getting ridiculous. I mean, if Whoopi Goldberg is canceled, that would be the end of this all. This cancel culture is.
Yeah, if you cancel Whoopi, you've gone too far because she's on our side. It's different. If you cancel her, then you're gonna have to hold everyone else accountable, and it just makes me mad.
And look, I don't think she should be fired, but I don't think a lot of people should be fired. And I don't think anybody should be taken off the internet. I don't think she, especially our last president. I mean, freaking president of the United States taken off Twitter.
They're just corporate entities doing their corporate thing. They're not censoring. We're not like we're in China when they're trying to censor words and censor speech. It's different. They're holding people accountable.
I've heard this stupid argument over and over again. We have an entire generation, entire culture of people who are willing and ready to gear up and go and fight for censorship. It's the weirdest, most idiotic thing in the world. There's nothing good that comes from censoring. Nothing. And there's nothing good from canceling human beings. Get them off the show? Sure. Was it a stupid comment? Absolutely. Did it dumb down some of the aspects of the Holocaust? Absolutely. But should she be fired? I don't think so. But again, it's The View, and who takes The View seriously? I mean, come on. The fact that we feel like we need to even have this conversation, a very serious program that we need to have the conversation about, is hilarious. But I want to hear this one more time, and then we'll get into some of the double standardness, which is I love, because let's be honest. Nobody cares about the double standard. Everyone's like, if my side's winning, I'll cheer. If your side's losing, I'll cheer. So I want to hear this one more time, because I want to put it in my veins. I want to put it in my heart. I want to put it in my mind. I want to feel this. I want to be a part of this revolution coming from Morning Joe.
This is something that is just going to like start getting ridiculous. I mean, if Whoopi Goldberg is canceled, that would be the end of this all. This cancel culture is getting so out of hand.
It's getting out of hand.
All right. So here's some of the double standard. Liberal, and this is from the Daily Wire. So, they're very conservative. So, take it with a grain of salt if you're not conservative and all that stuff. But I think they point out a very obvious picture that all of us are kind of thinking. And when we heard that is that there is a double standard, but nobody can. Look, they're looking out for their own. So this idea that we need to like push them to the double standardness or whatever is just silly. Liberal privilege is real. Disney's fired Gina Carano, which is true. They totally did. And they would do it again and again and again because she had too many conservative views. And if you support like The View, it's like if you're Amy Coney Barrett and you support, you're pro-life, you're not a woman according to them. Or if you're like Clarence Thomas, like if you're a black man in Supreme Court and you have Republican or conservative ideologies or whatever you want to put in the category that they have for the day, they want to diminish and say, this person's not black. It's like looking at Candace Owens. It's like people like on the left, they're constantly just like, she's not even really black. Like this, of course, there's a double standard and just an idiotic way of speaking for so many things. After news, Whoopi got suspended for saying something completely stupid, and it was stupid. Actress Gina Carano trended on Twitter a week after the news broke with The View host Whoopi Goldberg. She would be suspended for 2 weeks. Oh, my camera is doing a disservice to some of the power I'm bringing right now. Broke after The View 2 weeks from controversial comments she made about Jews, race, and the Holocaust. Notably, Carano was canned for Disney, the show Mandalorian, and supposedly after social media posts when she posted to Instagram and made a Holocaust comparison, which is like, you're just not allowed to compare to the Holocaust to anything in the world, even if it makes complete sense, even if it aligns perfectly. You're not allowed to do that because, I don't know, there's like some rule that you can't refer to something in the past because it's just like a illogical fallacy, or it's just so stupid. But how can you not? That's the power of story. It's the power of story. So if you see something in your life that reminds you of a story, you're gonna tell it. And so much of history is in its root a story of us in a sense, because I didn't live it, but it's a story, but it's also truth. You know. Goldberg, which I love that Whoopi's last name for her, that she chose is Goldberg, who contended on air that Jews were not being targeted and exterminated because of their race, was slapped with a 2-week suspension. And I love it. The best part of the 2-week suspension is that ABC didn't comment whether she's still getting paid. I would like a 2-week vacation. The apparent double standard was noticed online. Gina Carano was fired on Disney, which owned by ABC as well. So there's why the double standard is happening, comparing inhumane restrictions to dehumanization of the Nazis' treatment of Jews, posted by Ian Miles Cheong. Whoopi Goldberg got a 2-week vacation from ABC for minimizing the Holocaust as y'all whites against whites, which was such a stupid comment by Whoopi saying it's whites against whites. That's just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Also, Gina Carano is beautiful, radiant, and a lovely person, and Whoopi Goldberg is a bitter, hateful racist now. Award-winning actor Nick Searcy. It makes perfect sense that the Democratic media would fire Gina. Of course it does. You're not allowed to have dissenting opinions. It's like it's the whole culture of censorship, suppression of speech, suppression of ideas. Is like, if you're conservative and you're a Hollywood actor, you better keep your effing mouth shut and just fall in line, bro. Don't speak up. Yes, if you're on the left, you can be as big of an activist as you want. You can say as crazy as ideas as you want. We might give you a 2-week paid vacation. Because that's what we're all about when it comes to the double standard. I love that they use tweets. Keep in mind that Disney owns ABC. Disney fired Gina Carano for making what was the worst ill-advised Holocaust comparison. Even then, she was actually alluding to the seriousness of the event. Yet Whoopi Goldberg will keep her job guaranteed, and she will. Of course she will. You imagine them firing Whoopi? No way would that happen. But let's go to this. I think there's this comment from, I think I have it on my Twitter feed. Please have it. Please have it. Oh, yeah, I do. Okay. Here's Al Franken talking about Whoopi, which I love. You know, this is why you support my show, because my computer isn't the fastest in the world, and sometimes it does a disservice to the show. But here we go. Here we go. All right, here's some pure, lovable logic that I want to get into my veins. I want to sharing it with you as you sharing it with me. Let's listen to this from CNN, our favorite news streaming service in the whole world, CNN Plus.
Being suspended from The View. What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg being suspended from The View for 2 weeks?
Well, I know Whoopi. She's not anti-Semitic. She chose Goldberg for her last name, for her stage name.
What do you think?
Oh, need I say any more? I mean, seriously, I'm done. I mean, seriously. What a silly thing to say. Let's hear this one more time. Al Franken saying why Whoopi Goldberg isn't racist and she should be, like, you know, forgiven and all that stuff. Hear his sound logic for what he feels like why you should forgive her.
What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg being suspended from The View for 2 weeks?
Well, I know Whoopi. She's not anti-Semitic. She chose Goldberg for her last name, for her stage.
You crazy as hell.
I just can't. There's no words to describe how I feel after listening to that. I mean, I'm sure it's a joke, which I think is hilarious, but it's just, whatever. Yeah. All right, let's get into some more videos. Okay. Can we talk about this video of Joe Biden walking off stage right now? I mean, seriously, let's watch this video. One more time. He's being helped off stage by his wife. Look, I'm a big proponent and a big fan of not only term limits for our politicians, but I think age limits. There needs to be an age limit to our politicians. They can't be this old, being so frail, being walked off the stage by their younger wife. We can't, it doesn't look strong. There's nothing about this that goes, you know what? We go to war with Russia. I have faith that this man will be able to lead us day and night, from dusk till dawn, from the early mornings of the day to the late morning hours of the night. Joe Biden is strong.
You crazy as hell.
I know I am. But there needs to be age limits. I'm sorry. If you're over the age of 80, why? Why do you feel like you need to be president? Just retire gracefully, enjoy, play some golf. Go be a Walmart greeter and say hello to people and shake their hand and mow some grass for people and tell people how to slow down in your neighborhood and yell at people out of your car, tell them to put a seatbelt on. I don't know. Do something productive with your life. There needs to be an age limit. Am I alone on this? Please help me out, because I would love to know your thoughts on age limits in politics. I know people will be like, I know it like triggers some people on the right, because, you know, the next presidential candidate will probably be as old as him. So let me know your thoughts on age limits, because I'm a big proponent of it. And if you're not, I don't care. All right. Okay. All right. Let's get into some of Canada. Because I think it's what's going on in Canada is very important to society and freedom and fighting for your freedoms and fighting for your rights and all that good stuff. And here is a video. This video of a police in Canada calling for military action for what's going on with this fringe crazy trucker situation and their constant honking and their GoFundMe paid account. Ready? Let's listen to this because I think it's very telling and it should tell you everything about the state of Canada, and it's just a state of a global reset.
Increasingly, as we see demonstrations, not just here, but elsewhere in the country, where there are efforts by strictly a policing action, we are not as confident as we have been that police alone will resolve this situation substantially, never mind in totality.
You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
That I make the statement, there is likely no policing solution to this, but in combination with other efforts, there may be other opportunities to substantially reduce, if not end this demonstration. It is a local demonstration, a provincial demonstration, a national demonstration, and one that has international elements associated to it.
I know, but I don't know what that means, right? When you say other than police, do you mean, do you need politics? Do you need
Great
military? I don't understand the answer. I understand it's not only police, but then what are those other options that are not police options that we might need?
I think you just listed most of them right there.
Wow. Basically asking for military intervention. I don't know where is our anti-fascist brethren? I just don't, this is like literally insanity. We got to call in the military to police these freedom honkers. And people are just like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's call in the military. Let's get the military involved and get them to get these people out of here who want these mandates taken off. And of course, the media is like, these people are anti-vax. It has nothing to do with being taking it or not. It has everything to do being forced to take it by politicians. It's different. Get in your freaking head. Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. There's a video of the Ottawa City Council basically wishing they were in China, but they're asking for the GoFundMe account for the Ottawa, the trucker convoy to be frozen, which just now GoFundMe allowed it to happen. But let's listen to them just calling for these people's funds to be frozen.
I want to ask the mayor if he will pick up the phone and call GoFundMe in the States directly and demand that they cease and desist sending money to these unlawful protesters.
You crazy as hell.
And perhaps while he's at it, he could pick up the phone and ask the Prime Minister to do the same. We've had some conversations about perhaps suing GoFundMe, but legal action takes time, and this is urgent. We need to cut off the pipeline of funding to these people that are unlawfully mercenaries, if you will, that are unlawfully protesting and occupying our communities.
See, I thought Canada was all about freedoms and, freedom of speech and putting your hands together and being one in unity and standing up for people's rights, as the old video of Justin Trudeau surfaced. And of course, he changed as soon as he's in office, as all politicians do. They all talk a big game and act like they're for the people. But then as soon as they get in, they completely change the way they act. And then when they get back out, they're like, oh, I'm for you guys. How could you forget? But these people are actively calling your way of protesting to be completely canceled, your funds to be stripped from you, as people are pouring in money from across the world to support of these truckers and what they're standing up for against the mandates. Again, it's against the mandates. It's not against the actual just vaccine. Of course, people are taking it that route because you know, anti-vax has a certain tone in people's hearts where some people are just like, ah! So, but, sorry. But GoFundMe just froze their account. Of course they did. Because GoFundMe is, you know, totally independent and is all about freedom of speech and for the people and of the people. They're not a political wing. They're not like trying to push down their political agenda. And of course, they're not doing anything like that. But these people are seeing it as urgent. These people are not allowed to protest because they're honking, they're asking for freedom, and they can't have it because, after all, we're in charge. I mean, it's just crazy. I think I have another. Okay. Okay.
Let's watch this video of these disgusting fringe white supremacist conspiracy theorists. They're destroying the entire city. Let's watch them live right now. They're probably doing something evil. Where's your mask? This is totally full of fringe people. Somebody needs to stop this. We are the people, we are the children. Gross. This is not right.
They're dancing, they're singing, they're in a circle, they're having a good time. This needs to be stopped. This Canadian insurrection needs to be stopped. This is worse than January 6th. I'm going to say it. I said it. This is worse. Maybe that policeman from Ottawa is right. We need to send the military in there. They're outrageous. Look at this. It needs to be stopped. It must be stopped. Raise the accounts, stop the honking, and stop asking for freedom. Submit already. Go in your cell, and then you can have your freedoms. Go in your little box, follow the rules, and then you can have your freedoms, okay? My favorite is that I'll put that video up, and people will be like, wow, this guy is losing his mind, and not just see it as a joke. That's the world we live in, people. But, you know, they're singing, they're dancing, they're having a good time, and I'm supposed to be losing my mind about this. I think it's great. This is what a peaceful protest is supposed to look like. And their voice is being heard. I mean, you have the police asking for military intervention. You have the town council of Ottawa asking for the GoFundMe to be frozen. I mean, it's just insane. What a weird world we are living in. Okay, here we go. Here's another video of this disgusting trucker convoy. Look what they're doing. They're handing out free food.
He is opening the eyes. People are going home to their houses because they're local. Cooking incredible meals.
Oh, they're cooking meals? Ew, gross. These people are handing out free meals.
Understandably, are very frustrated with the amount of noise.
We gotta shut this down. No more free meals. These people are sick.
I mean, awesome. I mean, they're handing out free meals. They're honestly, I can't. The idea that like the cops are asking for military intervention in Ottawa, the city council is asking for Ottawa asking for GoFundMe to be frozen, and you have these people just blocking the streets, honking, and they're handing out free food. They're dancing, they're singing, they're having a good time. They're banding together. They're showing flags. They have patriotic pride with their Canadian flags. They're having a time. They're singing. They're joining together. They're people from different cultures and people that look different together. This is what a protest is supposed to look like, right? This is it should make you feel good on the inside. You see this, they're standing up for their freedoms. But no, we have people in the corporate media and politicians that are just like taking one or two circumstances, trying to make it the entire picture of what's going on. Also, just trying to discredit everything about this movement, and they try to rename it. They try to rephrase what's going on and try to make it to seem like this fringe, crazy conspiracy theorist. These big people are basically wearing tinfoil hats, and they should be stopped and taken down because they're so disgusting. It's so silly. And if you don't see through all this insanity about just the negative press of what's going on here, I worry for you. Get out of your freaking bubble. Pop that bubble like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. Pop it like it's hot. And open your eyes. Because this isn't a conspiracy. This isn't conspiracy theorists. This isn't a fringe idea. These are just people in the working class. God. I think like Biden's sexy whispers. He gets me every time with those whispers. There is this where is it? Something on my feed that I put up. Sorry, this is some of the hardest part about going live. Oh, here we go. These people are confused. So there is this Reddit forum going around, the lockdown critical left. It's the leftists, and they're just confused of why the people are against these working class people who are protesting for their freedoms. You would think they would be the opposite, but they're not. So this leftist is saying, the trucker convoy is the closest thing to a working class uprising I've seen in my lifetime. I wasn't around the 60s, and yet the left is somehow against it. Isn't this exactly the kind of thing that the left should be supporting? Are there any working class people on the left anymore? No. Why do they all seem to be Zoom tech workers and unemployed? Why is this actual working class overwhelming not on the left? It's really unsettling to me to see working class unity taking direction against fascist mandates, and then the left is taking the side of fascists. This person on the left gets it. This person on the left understands, and what I've been saying all along, I don't understand. How could you be anti-fascist and be for mandates? It makes no freaking logical sense in the whole world, and they know. It's just like and most of these kids went to college, and they had their their gender studies, they had their little professors, and they were taught philosophy. So this idea that they just can't see through that is ridiculous. But this person gets it, because I don't see working class people on the left anymore. I just don't see it, and that's why they hate you so much. They hate working class people because the working class people are dumb. You guys are dumb. You didn't go to college like me. You didn't have your philosophy and your degree like I have. I'm a higher class of learning. In fact, when I walk around, my nose is up a little higher than yours, and I can see the world differently. And you're just a peon, and you're a conspiracy theorist if you don't agree with me. And so if you disagree with me, you're crazy, and I'm the right one. You're not the right one. I'm the right one. I'm on the left, and you're on the right. The right is crap. No, whatever. It's good to see more people waking up to seeing, wow, am I living a double life or double standard? Because it seems like there's a movement on the right that's very populist, and it should completely align with people that are far left. And the right and the left should be unified against some of the neocons. And so we could go in that all day, but I don't understand how they don't join together. But as always, the media puts us against each other and encourages one another to fight each other instead of stand in unity, saying we want the best for American citizens, period. That's a crazy idea. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say these things. But I love that. What a cool thing to see. Next story, which I love. Here we go. Just change my screen. Bada bing, bada boom. California, Washington ordered Black Lives Matter to cease fundraising. Threaten legal action over missing financial records. 2 states have ordered Black Lives Matter to cease fundraising operations over concerns over how donations have been used. California and Washington, both heavily Democratic, sent letters to the Black Lives Matter Global Network Incorporated last month, threatening the group with legal action over potential violations of financial reporting laws. There's going to be a reckoning for all that money they got. as the leaders buy houses and property, and people act like it wasn't just a Ponzi scheme or a get rich quick scheme or anything like that, or nobody would take advantage of such a movement. Nobody would take advantage of this kind of encouragement, and it was all based on reality, not based on a fictitious idea with the end result to hopefully get a president taken off. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation is a legal entity of the National Black Lives Matter movement and has received tens of millions of dollars in donations in the recent years. The foundation took in over $90 million in 2020. $90 million. The year protests and riots erupted over the death of George Floyd, the organization has since faced backlash from local leaders who claim the umbrella group has been tight and secretive about the amounts of cash it raised. Of course it has. But they should face the reckoning. California Department of Justice sent a letter to Black Lives Matter on January 31st, threatening to hold the organization leadership liable to if $60 million worth of donations received is not correctly reported within 60 days. The organization Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation Incorporated is delinquent with the Registry of the Charitable Trust for failing to submit required annual reports, the letter said. I love that they're being held accountable for all the money that they took in. But will they be completely held accountable, and will some lawyers come to the rescue? Some activist lawyers, which I love to see. Let me know your thoughts on where this money is going and what they actually have been doing with it, and will they ever face reckoning? Because I think, which isn't always right and usually not right, is that nothing will happen and they'll slowly just dwindle in the wind, and we'll all forget about Black Lives Matter and what it all stood for. But it seemed like it was going to be here forever. It seemed like it was going to be the next political party, maybe. We could have the Black Lives Matter candidate. We could have the Black Lives Matter election fund that only candidates that support the Black Lives Matter cause would be able to receive these funds. Because nothing is better to money laundering than a little campaign fund. Right, Maxine Waters? As you paid your daughter over $1 million for what? Oh yeah, consulting. I love a good consulting gig, don't you? Bada bing, bada boom. That's what Black Lives Matter should do. Just, we hired a bunch of consultants. We saw nothing from it. I want to be a consultant when I grow up. All right, next story. Okay, next story. Oh, this story. This story is sad, man. 4-man charged in actor Michael K. Williams' overdose death in U.S. Michael K. Williams overdosed of fentanyl, and they found the guys, actually got him on video of selling him fentanyl. We have a huge fentanyl problem in this country, a huge drug overdose problem in this country with opioids, benzos, all that kind of stuff. As we're all about Pfizer and all that stuff. But we have this huge fentanyl issue that stems from our border, which is, it's just good people coming across. They're dreamers. They're having a good time. I know that it's completely illegal what's going on, and no one wants to talk about it. There's actual physical abuse, sexual abuse, slavery. There's all kinds of stuff that's happening, but we don't want to talk about that. It's just good people trying to come across for good jobs, and that's all it is. And if you're to say anything different, you're freaking racist, period. Michael K. Williams died of a drug overdose of fentanyl. We have a huge problem with drugs being laced with fentanyl because fentanyl is extremely cheap, it's extremely addictive, and it gets you high, really high. Some of the best highs you'll ever have. That's why people get so addicted to it. And when I say best, I don't mean it in a good way, I mean it in a very bad way. It's so good, it's bad. 54 years old, found dead in a New York apartment, September 7th. He was also on The Wire. Shout out to The Wire, one of the best TV shows of all time. Killed a great man and a great actor. It's very, very sad. No one wants to address the drugs. Whatever we've been doing against drugs has not worked. But we're going to continue to pretend like there's a chance. Maybe we'll just do more policing. Maybe we'll just put more arrests down. Or maybe we should just freaking lock down our borders. Don't think like that. That's racist ideology. crazy. We're going to have more deaths like this happen because fentanyl is everywhere. And people are pretending like we don't have a drug problem in America. We have so many problems. And God, we just need to send Kamala to save the day because she's doing such a great job on the border as it stands right now. Please let me know your thoughts on the fentanyl epidemic and what goes on. And we just have like open air drug use with, we call them homeless populations, but then people are also just doing drugs, getting high on our streets, and people aren't helping these people because, you know, it's rude to say that they have a mental disorder, they're addicted to drugs or anything like that. They're just people without a home. That's it. I hate that we can't have conversations with some things in our lifetime. It's like, you're not allowed to have a conversation about this because, well, you're against their lifestyle. Yeah? I'm against people dying on the streets. How about that? All right. Next story. This is a fiery episode. I'm getting fired up as we speak, people. Okay. I'm not going to get too much into this story, but I think it's important to know. Like I said, I'm not going to get much into this, but Biden orders nearly 3,000 U.S. troops to Eastern Europe to counter Russia. This is important to know because it's important to know what's going on in the story. It's slowly heating up. It's like a frog in a boiling pot. We're just slowly heating it up, and we're seeing what happens. To say it's just going to like go away, I'm not sure. I've heard people say like, it's just Russia being Russia. Well, it's just United States being United States too. NATO being NATO. How it's going to end, I'm not sure, but it's slowly heating up as we're sending troops out. And thank God, because, this just came down too, so you should know this. The Army is immediately to start discharging people who refuse the vaccine. Thank God. It's not like a war is starting to heat up around the world. Praise God. The Army said Wednesday that it will immediately begin discharging soldiers who have refused the mandatory COVID vaccine, putting more than 3,300 service members at risk for being thrown out soon. I know you say that's not very much, but when we just sent 3,000 troops to Eastern Europe, and then you can basically just cancel those people out, I'm sure there's more soldiers than that. But this is just the Army. This isn't like all branches. Thank God we're discharging people in the midst of a possible World War III. I feel good about our situation in the world. Don't you? All right. Next story to finish the podcast, people. We're having a good time. We're having a great time, actually. And here we go. This story could get a little awkward, so prepare your hearts, prepare your minds. We're having a good time. U.S. Swimming issues new policy on elite transgender athletes. I think the fact that they issued a new policy should tell you a lot about maybe the direction we're going, and they're doing it in baby steps. We don't want to offend anyone. We don't want to cause an uprising or stir chaos. The governing body of the competitive swimming in the United States issued a new policy on Tuesday regarding transgender athletes wanting to compete in elite events. Effective immediately, the USA Swimming said that 3-person panel of an independent medical experts will now decide, and this is key, will now decide whether prior physical development of an athlete as a male will give an unfair advantage over cisgender females. So like I said before, they're basically admitting there's a difference. But I've seen on, reports like on Vice saying, actually, there's no difference between a transgender and like all these BS statements in order to make people feel good. The panel will also check the testosterone levels. I'm immediately triggered by even reading this. The panel will also check the testosterone levels that have been less than 5 nanomoles per liter for at least 36 months prior. The U.S. Swimming has and will continue to champion a gender equity. Of course, they're going to add this because you can't just say we're going to start banning people based on their testosterone levels because, God, let's not just speak logically about this. Let's have males beating the crap out of females in MMA. It's okay. The U.S. Swimming has and will continue to champion gender equity and inclusivity of all cisgender and transgender women and their rights to participate in sport, while the fervently supporting competitive equity at elite levels of competition. The statement on Tuesday. The development of elite policy therefore acknowledges a competitive difference in male and female categories and disadvantages that present an elite head-to-head competition. Yes, it comes out of the University of Pennsylvania. Leah Thomas, who's a transgender who has been smashing records at college events. She had previously competed in men's swimming team at Penn and underwent 2 years of hormone therapy. During a preliminary rounds Zippy International event last year, Thomas set a new pool and meet record of 500 freestyle by beating the record by 12 seconds. That's not beating the record. That's destroying the record. But they're openly admitting there's a difference. And I'm thankful there's some logic left in the world. But, there's logic, but there's also a gateway to continuing the same practices. But it's interesting that the conversation is even getting started. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with me. It means so much to me, as always. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Today's podcast was fun. It was good. Let's just talk about what's going on. Today was an interesting day. Go back into our reality. We'll go back to staring at our phones and listening to our news via the television. Stop paying attention to each other. But I want to make an encouragement to you. Be okay with having uncomfortable conversations and be okay with speaking openly and freely, but also keeping empathy and sympathy in your mind as you have those tough, harsh conversations that make people feel uncomfortable, because it's incredibly important to keep that at the forefront, because we have a culture of people consistently who are happy to get rid of empathy and support for their ideology, and that needs to go away. But now let me know your thoughts. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And as always, I'll catch you on the next episode of the Derek O'Shea Show. Thank you.